Well, it's been a rough time trying to contain my excitement for Pokemon Legends Arceus, so I've brought together a few friends so that we can talk about it.
Hello, I'm Kayla from Kayla's Capsule. I make Pokemon content. I am going to be live streaming all of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I am so excited!
We all are, and who's the other person here with us?
What's going on, everyone? It's Dusty Go-Goat. I'm so hyped for Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I will be saying Arceus all this entire podcast. I also will be live streaming as well.
It's fun to say Arce.
Yeah. I get a lot of comments, Johnny. A lot of comments.
I do want to say we have one more person who will be joining us today. And it's everyone's favorite Veteran X Game. Just kidding. He could not join us today, and we're really sad about it.
I was waiting for the reveal. That was exciting.
I know.
Imagine if he was just here as a surprise. What up, everybody? Let's play some video games and watch some anime.
Or something.
Yeah. Oh, no, I wish. But Veteran X, he wishes he could be here, but unfortunately, he's got a lot on his plate right now, so we wish all the best to him. And you know what? It's all okay, because Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out in like, 2 or 3 days, so he'll be happy too. So as much as he has on his plate, he's going to be smiling by the end of the week.
For sure. I think we all will.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we all know, the game has leaked. There was some trailers that got released, and too little too late, Nintendo and Pokemon Company. You guys obviously haven't noticed that everyone has the game already somehow, except for me.
Or me.
Or me.
Oh. Okay, so I'm not the only one. I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah.
But you guys have seen a little bit of the spoiler-ish stuff.
Too much. Seriously.
Yeah, we need to be careful.
Yeah, so we're going to be careful. You guys are going to be careful, I should say, not to spoil anything. I have avoided the spoilers for the most part.
I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
Don't worry, you won't. I will stop you either with the power of my voice or the power of editing. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our general excitement for the game, because as we all know, we have all been PokeTubers, and a lot of us have found our starts actually with this game. This is the very game that has jump-started our careers here on YouTube. So
yeah,
let's start with talking about that. I'm gonna let you start us off, Dusty.
Yeah, so I think what I'm most looking forward to about this game is just like a really immersive experience. I think I haven't seen any of the plot, but I've seen all the models that are in this game, the character models. I've also seen gameplay, and the gameplay has got me reconsidering a lot of the shilling, you might want to call it, for all the past Pokemon games of the last 5 to 10 years. The memories stand, the emotions, right? Like, I'm bonded to these games, but I think I'm gonna have a different appreciation for the Pokemon series after playing this game.
Absolutely. I think it's the same for me. And don't get me wrong, I was already against the shills in the first place, but they must be, I don't know what they're doing right now after Pokemon Legends is doing everything that everyone who criticized Pokemon up to this point wanted. Like, they're finally giving us what we've wanted, and the shills have just been so silent. You know what their comeback is right now? Their comeback is, Pokemon fans are still gonna find something to complain about. And it's like, no, we actually have not found anything to complain about.
People complaining about the graphics, I'm like, what do you mean?
Right? There's nothing wrong with these graphics. If there's like some small stuff, maybe, but it's hardly consequential in the grand scheme of things. And even the most avid critics like Distant Kingdom are still out here saying things like, even if the graphics are a little bit, iffy here and there, the game is so good that this is the absolute best Pokemon game ever made.
And that's really
the
what
general
it's all
consensus.
About. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I think people have been so nitpicky because the franchise has ceased to advance really in any way.
Yeah, it's stale as hell, and cease to evolve is what people usually use, because it's like, haha, funny pun. But all right, Kayla, what about you and your general excitement for the game?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. Like, for those of you guys who know me, I'm like a huge lore person. Like, I just love finding out all the little hidden details about the history and all the things behind all the different Pokemon. And so I'm so excited to explore the past and all of the lore that is going to be within that. there's just gonna be so many things so many things to think about that literally would not be possible before, like we've never had a game like this that is going to kind of give us this history of a region. I'm blown away. I'm amazed. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this game sounds exactly up your alley, especially from the things I've been hearing. I've heard that the story in this is actually really good. And not just, like I had heard it from, the Riddler coup before the game got leaked, right? But now that it's leaked and everyone's playing it, they're saying, like, the story is really, really good, especially in the post-game, apparently. And the game is also apparently really long. Some of these people have been playing it for 50 hours straight, and they said that they haven't even beaten the main campaign.
That's really promising.
Like I have not spoiled myself on most of the story stuff. The only thing I've seen is the opening cutscene, and I'm not going to say anything about it other than that it was amazing. Like even the opening cutscene.
It was amazing.
Even the opening cutscene is amazing.
It opens up so many possibilities for the rest of the series, as you were saying. But like,
I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Wait, I want to ask.
It doesn't just explain things from it doesn't explain things from another point of view. What it really does is open up possibilities where, like, I don't know. I don't want to say too much. I do want to say too much.
I want to ask.
Everybody will know as soon as they start the game. They're gonna play it, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, like that."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I sort of wish I saved myself for that, because that would have been really cool to do. Yeah.
I saved myself, so I don't know what it is you're talking about.
For those of you guys who have not seen it yet, be like Johnny and just save it, because it's only a couple days.
Yeah.
It's like by the end of tonight when we're recording this, and then tomorrow when it releases, it's going to be 2 days till the release, and there's probably going to be reviews out at the same time as well. But
it's true, yeah.
I did want to ask, what is it about this opening cutscene that was so good, without spoiling anything, obviously?
We literally can't tell you without spoiling anything.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you,
there's literally no way.
Charizard's in the opening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all time.
Totally
Dare
Charizard.
I said it. I couldn't hold that in any longer.
Oh my gosh, that is game changing. Having Charizard in the opening cutscene, that's wow. I never expected that. But I will say, so you're saying that the opening is it like a story thing that it spoils? Is that why you can't say it?
Yeah, it's story.
Yes.
It sets up the entire game.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's really exciting. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I'm actually planning on having a video come out, like, literally when the game releases, going into detail about it. Because everyone, as soon as they open up the game and play that scene, is gonna be like, whoa. And
questions.
It's a lore thing, so I'm ready.
It's for you. Awesome.
I'm
Kayla and I.
so excited.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Kayla and I are actually going to get this game on the same time, at the same day, at the same place. So we're both going to Nintendo New York. We reserved our spot for 9 a.m. there, and we're gonna pick up Pokemon Legends Arceus physically. We're gonna be able to meet people. I know I've had a few fans who reached out to me saying that they're gonna be there as well, so I told them come and say hi, so that'll be fun. And so we gotta commune, and we gotta get the game, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna play the game at each other's apartments, and it's gonna be really fun.
You both are gonna FaceTime me during this whole thing, right?
No, you'll be too busy making videos and playing the game. No, but we can FaceTime you if you want, Dusty, if you really want to feel included.
I mean, I'm kidding, but yeah, maybe. I'll take you up on that offer.
No, I figured you'd be busy. It's all good. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to actually go home first and play it on like my big screen just to be like, yeah, this is actually the first home console Pokemon experience that actually feels like a first home console Pokemon experience.
Yeah.
At least since Coliseum and Gale of Darkness back in the day.
This really is a question that like I have, because like I like I said at the top of the show, like I do want to live stream this. I think it'll be a lot of fun to experience this with people. I've got my streaming set up, but like I also kind of want to do this privately and just enjoy it for myself. And I will be streaming it, but I don't know, maybe I play like an hour of it by myself first.
So I was like you, I wanted to stream it, and I think Kayla said she is streaming it for sure.
Yeah, yep.
And then, I mean, Dusty, I think you're a better streamer than I am anyway, so you may as well stream it, but...
I'm like 6 streams into my streaming career.
But you're still better than I am. I honestly haven't done that many. I think I've done more than 6, but I don't know. I feel like I'm not the best streamer. People tell me they enjoy my streams, but I feel like my content is just better when I edit it and, you know, take the time to really like put it together thoughtfully.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
So, especially with playing the game, I do want to take my time and just enjoy it. It's gonna, like, this is such a therapeutic thing for me, finally getting a good Pokemon game, since the last one that I thought was that good was was Pokemon Black 2, White 2.
Go play it in a sauna.
Yeah, and this will probably be my favorite since Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So
Wow.
I'm really excited for that, and I just want to like take my time with it. But I do want to record my reactions to it at the same time. So I am going to be recording myself playing it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Just, you know, and then I'm going to put those videos. If it's like something interesting happens, I'll put those clips up on YouTube for people to watch, because I think people would enjoy that a little bit better than if I live streamed and had all that stuff in between. And also, like, my live streaming for BDSP did not go very well. So both because like I got really tired out and there was a lot of loose space in there because it's kind of a boring game, and then on top of that,
live streaming is exhausting.
Oh my
feel
gosh,
obligated to talk the whole time.
Yep.
So probably not going to be live streaming Pokemon Legends unless there's like an event later that happens. Maybe I'll live stream that, but otherwise gonna be recording it.
Yeah, I'll be live streaming it, and I mean, I think Johnny's gonna come over at some point, so you can probably pop in and say hi to people.
Oh yeah, I could do that, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll FaceTime you both.
That'll be fun.
That works. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, and I just added this in here while we were recording this. So it is about the character that you're gonna pick at the beginning. So I was torn because I really wanted to play as a female in like a female open world, because there's not a lot of females in open world games. There's like what, Nier Automata and Horizon Zero Dawn. Is there others that I can't think of? Like, I don't know.
I mean, Skyrim.
There's some where you can choose.
You can choose, right? But in this one, like they actually have a straight up female character that you can choose, or a straight up male character you can choose. Most of those games you can actually like change them however much you want throughout the game. This one you can't. You have to choose one and you're stuck with it.
Yep.
So for me personally, I'm gonna ask you guys what your choices are, but for me personally, I'm gonna pick the male because I think the male has the better outfit, but the male also has a female, or I wouldn't want to say female hairstyle, but they have a long hairstyle that looks like it would look really good on a female, or a male. It would look good on both. But I feel like I can kind of like gender bend the male a little bit better and have a cooler outfit while I do so, because I like his default outfit better. But what about you guys? What are you gonna do?
For me, I know I'm gonna play as a girl because I feel like women aren't represented enough in games, and as somebody who is a woman, like I definitely am going to play like the female trainer, and I'm really excited that I can have my pixie cut like I do in real life, so that'll be really fun.
See, I felt the same way. I was like, females are underrepresented, and especially in open world games, and so I want to do the female. But also, another reason I want to pick the male is because sometimes I want them to be a male, specifically because I want to have my own in-game canon that my character and Volo are in a relationship. And I didn't want it to be a straight relationship.
That's my headcanon, yeah.
I didn't want it to be a straight relationship. So I was like, okay, I'll have the male character, and the male character in Volo, who very much resembles Cynthia and is a very well-made fictional character in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Well crafted. I want them to be a couple.
If Volo has a canon boyfriend or girlfriend, I wonder how many people are gonna be so sad.
I should have just picked the girl at that point. Dang. What about you, Dusty? What are you doing?
I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you were. Like I do enjoy I like to have my main character of like the primary save file of a new generation or whatever. I do like it to like resemble who I am. You know, I've used both male and female characters in previous Pokemon games, but I think actually there was a piece of gameplay that I saw with the female character in it, like distinctly I was like, I think I actually might pick the female character for how cool she looks running around, or it was like leaping or jumping or whatever the action was. But I think at the end of the day, this save file, the primary save file that I'm gonna have, is gonna be the male character. I have not seen. Somehow you've seen all of the outfits for both of these characters, and I haven't. Somehow, even though I've seen the leaks.
Yeah, I had to very surgically search it up on YouTube, but there is a YouTuber who has has videos
All right.
on it.
Maybe I'll have to do that to make my final decision.
They do only show the males though. They don't show the females. I don't know
Yeah.
what all the female options are. Maybe there's some good female options that I don't know about.
Yeah, the female characters typically have a wider pool of options.
Usually, right? But from what I've seen, the males have larger pool this time.
Yeah, it feels like, I think for this game it's going to be actually more equal than it's been in the past, which is nice.
Yeah,
that's
of
good.
course. Of course. It always felt like the females were outshining the males. But I think they did a good job with the ratio both in Sword and Shield, and it looks like in Legends as well on the clothing options.
I think this is a game that I'm going to be going back to quite a bit. So on this first go around, like whichever character I choose, I'm definitely going to be choosing whatever the other one is in my second and third and fourth and fifth playthrough of this game.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Okay. Well, on the topic, before we get into what you guys have seen that's spoilery, we're not going to spoil anything, obviously, but I do want to kind of lightly touch on like what you guys were spoiled on without you guys straight up saying what it was. I know that sounds weird, but there's a way to do it, and we will do it. But before that, I do want to talk about the fact that there were some trailers released today that were just like I said earlier, they're way too little too late. Obviously, Nintendo didn't get the memo that everyone has the game except for us. So, the trailers revealed a few things that we actually learned from the leaks before the trailers revealed them. And now we can talk about them since they were officially revealed. And these
That is
are
so cool.
right, but these are typically more gameplay things. They're not like, you know, forms or story things. So that's kind of good. But yeah, I have a list here, and I'm gonna start us off, and then we can talk about it in depth a little more. But the first thing that we'll notice from these new trailers, one of them was a Japanese trailer that just was the final trailer for the game, and then one of them was the starter trailer for the English speakers of the world. Both of them showed similar clips. One of them had more than the other, vice versa, for certain things. But the first thing we'll notice is that there are Pokemon that can, as we're flying on Hisui and Braviary, other Pokemon can be flying around us as well. So it seems like maybe we can catch them in the air or battle them in the air. I'm actually not too sure how that would work because there was another Braviary flying around us riding on our Braviary, and I don't know what happens if we try to interact with it. Do you guys have any idea? Maybe you know more than I do. I don't know.
I'm like, all right, don't spoil it.
Well, okay. Okay, answer me this then. Is there air battles?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
But you can catch the Pokemon in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured.
Yep.
I figured you could at least
So
try to catch
dangerous.
them in the air.
I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine even if you're on the ground, you could throw a Pokeball up at a Pokemon that's up high. So
Well,
I
you
don't
could
feel like
reach
it's
it,
a huge. Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like it's a huge spoiler.
And this is,
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks to X and Y with the sky battles, not the trainer sky battles, but I'm pretty sure when you're flying around on the Mega Latios or Latias.
Yeah, in
I'm pretty
Omega
sure-
Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, like a horde of flying type Pokemon can encounter you.
Wait, really? Oh.
I believe that, yeah.
I didn't realize they
I don't know if it's a
incorporated
horde or
flying
a single
battles.
battle.
I think it was single battle, but they were flying around and you could like encounter them.
Wow.
They'd be flying around there.
Okay. All right. So they're doing that again. But we just don't know if we can battle them yet in the sky. I would hope so, since some of them, you know, they might not catch from just throwing the ball, right?
Yeah.
So like in the clip, it was a Hisuian Braviary that was flying around our Braviary. So I'm wondering if, you know, obviously that's a pretty powerful Pokemon. We can't catch it just by throwing a ball. Maybe we can initiate a battle somehow, and how that would work.
It's
I don't
also
know
possible that there might be equipment that'll help us catch it, you know? Because we've
sure,
seen
yeah.
like the mud ball, almost like Safari Zone things. Like there might be things catered specifically to flying, so.
Like a net.
You throw it at them and they just fall to the ground, and then you can battle
And then you
them.
battle, yeah, you know?
I'm just picturing an animation that looks very sad of the Braviary just straight shotting down from that high up in the air.
Yeah.
And just that thing was dead if it hit the ground from there.
I'm just picturing Mufasa being like, no! Lion King spoiler.
Luke Skywalker falling down the shaft.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
That's
so
an
funny.
Empire Strikes Back spoiler.
You
if
know,
that's a thing, there's gonna be so many memes.
well, speaking of of my questioning of how the flying Pokemon mechanics is gonna work, all the clips of Pokemon in water that like Pokemon that swim, or clips of our trainer in water. I'm wondering, because in this trailer there was a shot of Hisuian Basculegion, or I guess just Basculegion, and he's just like, we have all 6 of our Pokemon out, and only Basculegion is in the water, trying to be a part of the group, and all the rest of them are on the land. And I'm wondering, I remember seeing clips before of our Crobat fighting a Gyarados in like the 2nd trailer, I believe.
Yeah.
And they haven't really shown us water battles since then. It's been just us like catching water Pokemon in the water. So I'm wondering if like for battling and even throwing out into the field, can we only throw certain types of water out of Pokemon out in the water? Is that a thing?
Do you want us to answer that?
Yeah.
Should you answer that?
Are we doing speculation? I don't think I have a clear answer. Like I haven't.
Okay, you don't know either. Oh,
okay.
Kayla
I
has a clear
know,
answer.
but I don't know if we want it spoiled. So
I can speculate because I haven't actually seen it. So I think I've seen. This doesn't exactly answer the question, but I think I've seen like fish type Pokemon floating on land. I've seen that. Yeah, maybe.
Right,
okay,
I've seen that,
yeah.
but I'm wondering if on the water, like you can't really throw out, say, like a Togepi into the water, it would drown, right?
Yeah,
so,
Togepi doesn't know how to swim.
So, Kayla, can you answer me this question with a yes or no?
okay.
And the question is it realistic? Do they break immersion with how the water works?
A little bit.
They break immersion.
I'm gonna say a little bit. We don't have any Jesus Pokemon. Nobody's walking on water.
Okay, so no one's walking on water. Okay.
That's actually not true. I won't spoil it, but there's a Pokemon that breaks immersion, or at least breaks what I've always thought this Pokemon has. I don't know. There's something crazy. You'll see it in the game. There's a Pokemon flying around like a dragon, and it's something that you wouldn't think flies.
Oh,
I know what you're talking about. I actually have that's something that like keeps popping up on all my feeds, so I wasn't able to avoid it. So I know what you're talking about, but I won't say it.
We'll circle back next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That is cool though. That is really cool.
I don't know if it's like a mistake or not, or if that's if that's actual canon. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you haven't seen it in gameplay. You've only seen it in photos.
Yes, I've seen it in photos and video.
Okay, so you have seen video footage. Okay.
Yeah. I think we've all seen that one.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not a mistake because that's so cool.
It is cool, and it makes sense.
It reminds me of Breath of the Wild. Did you play Breath of the Wild, Dusty? I know Kayla hasn't.
I did. I actually never finished the story. I put like 150, 200 hours into doing all the side stuff.
So you definitely have seen the dragons fly around. I have.
Right? That's exactly what I thought of.
So that's what I thought of as well when I saw the clips. So
I
everyone's in for a treat with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think the action also matches what the inspiration of the Pokemon is. So
absolutely.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, based on the mythological beast that Pokemon is based off of, it makes sense for it to be doing what it's doing.
Yeah. So. I hope we see more of that too. I hope it's not just that Pokemon. I hope there's more that we get to see that really fits the canon for these mons.
Well, we do see, and this is not a spoiler at all because it's from the trailers, we see Luxio sleeping standing up.
That's cool.
Yep.
And Luxio's whole thing is its electricity goes through its claws. And it uses that to communicate. So, I mean, electricity shouldn't pass through the ground, but like, I'm wondering if it sleeps that way because of that. Like, almost all its Pokédex entries mention that. So I'm like,
Are you saying like its electricity stimulates its nervous system, so it's like always its muscles are always flexed? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's more like it's communicating with the rest of its like pack because there's a bunch of Shinx around when it's doing that.
And the Shinx lay down.
Yeah, they're like chilling.
Yeah.
So it might be that
That's
Luxio is standing guard and that if anything happens, it will immediately communicate with them.
Yeah, I did point that out in analysis. I noticed that.
Yeah, we did talk about immersion earlier, and that's something that I keep coming back to. I think this game really is consistent with the immersion. Maybe not with the thing that Kayla's talking about, but it seems like in a lot of places, it's just everything. The Pokemon have true animations it seems like a lot of fun.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that because that's what I want, you know? I want a fun 3D world to run around in with my Pokemon and to just like not have immersion broken. And it seems like Legends is delivering on that. That's all I ever asked for in Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I'm only just now getting it. The closest I got to this was Poke Park, but you play as a Pokemon in that, so it's not quite the same. But I'm just super excited. It looks like a really fun and like the Pokemon actually are your partners. I've seen gameplay of how we collect resources, and you can just like do everything at once while you just run straight forward in a line.
Yeah.
You can throw your Pokemon out in all different directions and have them do different things. It's so cool, and it feels like you're in a team, actually working together to survive in this world and just
and everything's so
together.
seamless and dynamic. I mean, this is something that I really hope that they don't take for granted and they continue putting these things in future Pokemon games.
Yeah, exactly. I hope so too. But I am scared because we know that Nintendo really cracked down on GameFreak. They moved them into their offices in their building. They moved GameFreak into Nintendo, essentially. And then Monolith Soft is also there. And I called this beforehand. I said Monolith Soft is also at Nintendo, and Nintendo's also at Nintendo with GameFreak now. And there's no way that they're not going to share their resources with GameFreak. And I think they did more than that. Obviously, Monolith Soft is credited very prominently in the creation of Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's been leaked already. We know that's a thing. And for those of you who don't know, Monolith Soft actually created both Xenoblade Chronicles, and they were the main developers for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Beautiful.
So they are essentially they're the main developers for like making open world games. They're used in all sorts of games to like perfect it. They're so good at making it seamless and smooth, and you can tell they had a huge hand here because there's no possible way Game Freak went from Sword and Shield to this.
Johnny, you
way.
had mentioned that you're afraid because Game Freak is working so closely with Nintendo. I would think that if this game does well, or if the reception is well, that Nintendo would actually be incentivized to put the pressure on them.
Oh, absolutely. If the game does well, but I think the game is doomed to not do as well as any of the mainline titles before. And
What?
And the reason for that, there's several reasons for that. The first reason is because this is only one game, it's not two games, meaning let's say you have a household, right, with a parent and two kids. Both of the kids want Pokemon Legends Arceus. So the parent says, okay, I'll get you guys Pokemon Legends Arceus and you can share it. But let's say you had a house and BDSP comes out and one wants Brilliant Diamond, one wants Shining Pearl. The parent looks at that and says, okay, these are two different games. One wants one wants the other. Let me get them both one of these, you know? So they end up getting essentially the same game, even though it's just the same, even though it's boxed differently, right? And that's two per household, at least two per household, right? So that's one aspect of it. And then you also have collectors who always get two versions of the games, and that obviously stacks that up too. So that's already a huge chunk of sales gone, right? On top of that,
it's not even the holiday.
Exactly. So on top of that, the holiday season's already passed. And you know what? Those kids, whether they were confused or not, probably got BDSP. They probably asked for Pokemon Legends and got BDSP, or they didn't know because they didn't know Pokemon Legends wasn't out yet or something. Or they did ask for BDSP and they got BDSP. And now Christmas is over, or whatever holiday is celebrated is over.
Their birthday. I've been seeing that a lot.
Right. So the kid is then like, Mom, Dad, can I have Pokemon Legends Arceus? Or can I have this new Pokemon game? And the parent says, honey, you already have Pokemon. And so then now the kid can't have Pokemon Legends. Right. So now the kids can't have Pokemon Legends because to their parents, they already have a Pokemon game. They got the new Pokemon game for Christmas. So
this is like the conversations I have with my fiance. She's like, "Why are you buying another Pokemon game? You just bought a Pokemon game."
So see, you see the confusion right there.
Yeah,
so
it's right there. Yeah.
This game is doomed to not sell as well. And on top of that, they marketed this game so poorly that there's people out there who don't even know it exists, even still. So that's another huge thing. The only thing this game has going for it that the other games in the series prior to it do not have is quality and the chance to bring back fans who have been, over the series for a long time now and realize that the quality has been gone for a long time, and finally just they want an actual good Pokemon game. This would be the game that brings back those hardcore fans. But that's probably not a very big chunk by comparison. You also have to take into account how many people felt burned after getting Pokemon Sword and Shield and or Pokemon BDSP, because they got these games thinking they're these big Nintendo Switch Pokemon titles, and or even Let's Go, all of these games disappointed. So they're probably like, dang, 3 games in a row on the Switch that just like sucked. I'm not interested in Pokemon Legends. I have a lot of people that I know.
This is a sequel. This is also a sequel. This is essentially the 3rd version, right? So what do they call it? Like the install base. I saw so many people on Instagram, friends of mine, who went out, got BDSP purely because of the nostalgia. God bless them, right? They enjoyed the game. They enjoyed the session, but I feel like this is, I don't see the same type of hype.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I do think, though, there is definitely some hype building since the leaks. Because I've heard that there have been more pre-orders for the game. Like, the increase in pre-orders from the leaks has been significant.
That's great.
Where did you get that info from, though?
I heard it. One of the YouTubers was talking about it. A PokeTuber.
Was it me?
I think it was. I don't know if it was you or if it was HDV. It was somebody.
Right, but what were their sources? I need to know.
Oh, I don't know. But they were saying that there's been a huge increase in pre-orders since the leaks.
I hope they're right.
I can give you a data point. I actually did just pre-order this game this week.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's something. But I will say, you have to take into account that the people who actually do look online for these things is actually a very small percentage compared to Pokemon's main audience, which is casual people who literally don't look online for anything. Like, they just go to the store and they'll see it on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
That's the majority of people who buy Pokemon. They see the new game on the shelf, they get it.
It has been very nice, just to spin it in a positive way, it has been very nice for me to see all of the positive feedback online from people who have played the game, from people who have seen the leaks. It's been really refreshing. The last 8 years of being a Pokemon fan online has been so negative.
Yeah, for good reason, in my opinion. But
that's fair. But
now it's positive because Legends is actually the game that we all thought would have been the first console Pokemon game.
Yeah, you are right. This is what I expected when I got my Nintendo Switch in 2017.
Exactly, me too. This is what I expected out of Sword and Shield, but that is not what we got. I wanted to go back to the topic of the sales for the game, and how they're hindered, but like I said before, the one thing that is helping these games is the fact that it's going to be a good game, and that might actually just sell itself after the game releases. So to look at some classic examples, let's look back at 2017, which was a great year for gaming. 2 very amazing games came out that year. We had The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and we had Nier Automata. And both of those games, they come from 2 different backgrounds, but ended up in sort of the same boat respectively to their franchise. So with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we already know it's Zelda. It's going to sell relatively well, right? It was a launch title for the Switch, which also helps. But that game, a lot of its sales, probably about half of its sales came after the game released and people raved about it.
Right.
It became an essential play. It was labeled an instant classic, this and that, right? So now the game has sold so many copies. And you look at Nier Automata, which came out a little bit before Breath of the Wild. And I remember specifically playing Nier Automata, thinking it was the most life-changing game I've ever played, and then looking online at its sales reports, and it didn't even hit 1 million sales worldwide. And that was within I want to say
I've never played it.
That was within the first few months that I checked that, maybe even the first year. Nier Automata did not even hit 1 million sales. And I was like, dang, this was the best game I've ever played. It was life-changing. It had everything. And it didn't sell well. But eventually, online, and just by word of mouth got out that Nier Automata is one of the best games ever made. And to a lot of people, it is the best game ever made. And it's such a good game, and it's life-changing, it's philosophical, it's got the gameplay, it's got the art style, it's got the graphics, it's got the smoothness, it's got the story, it's got everything that you could ask for, except for maybe some Pokemon in it. But because word of mouth got out so much about how good Nier Automata was, it bumped up all of a sudden to now it just hit a landmark of selling 6 million units.
Okay, so going off of your theory right now, what if this this game comes out, it doesn't perform incredibly well, but what if this is really the bedrock of the rest of Pokemon's like yearly calendar? What if they have DLC planned? What if there are special events that they can run alongside all the Sword and Shield events that are going on, right? And then, I mean, this is all hypothetical, but like they could do another push of this game later in the year for next holiday. They marketed Sword and Shield for 2 holidays.
Yeah, I mean, they honestly should with Legends, in my opinion. I think it would be great to have DLC for it. And I'm probably like 75% certain that they will have DLC for Legends being the holiday release this coming year.
Yeah.
And they should do that, especially if the game sells well and if people...
Either that or Gen 9.
I don't think they should do Gen 9 this soon.
I'd be a little rushed, I feel like.
It would feel very rushed. Very, very rushed.
So what do you think, I mean, we have more on our script right here, but what do you think a DLC could entail?
I want to say more areas to explore and some story elements. What about you, Kayla? This is something you would definitely know
I think it would be hilarious because people have speculated that Kubfu is from Sinnoh.
Yes.
It would be hilarious if the DLC is related to Kubfu because we had DLC with Kubfu, right? So it'd be like, it's like, let's make that same DLC but in the past.
You know, that'd be so. In one way, they could actually make that work, and the way that they could do that, and it would actually be beneficial to them in more ways than one, is tying in Legends with Sword and Shield somehow.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
Like actually tying it in, not just saying like, oh, this is a Kung Fu storyline in the past, but
are you suggesting they could bring these Hisuian Pokemon to the Sword and Shield video game?
No. I'm thinking more the opposite. Bringing Sword and Shield to Hisui. And maybe some aspects that can somehow go backwards too, but I doubt that because I don't know if they know how to code that.
My other thought for DLC, or even just some sort of update, is to have competitive, to be able to battle other people in Pokemon Legends Arceus, because right now, like, not being able to do that, I know for some people that's a factor in getting this game. And so, I think if they add that in around Christmas time, that could be a big boost in sales.
That's actually one of the prime things they should do.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it. I have wish lists. You both have wish lists. I think this game really does feel like... I mean, DLC makes sense, story DLC, but I don't think adding new mechanics to this game is really the trajectory. I mean, this game is already so different from the main series as it is.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be a new mechanic because there is trainer battles in the game, so it would essentially be bringing that to... a player versus player format.
Okay, so it would maintain the same format. Okay, yeah, I guess I could see that if there's some sort of Wi-Fi feature. The thing I was thinking about is, because for a long time, I think people wanted, we want old existing Pokemon in Sword and Shield. We also want these new Pokemon in Sword and Shield. And what's something that we have learned is that these are actually wholly new character models.
What do you mean character models?
Pokemon models.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they are. Well, technically no. They are the same models, but they're updated. So, and they're updated pretty heftily, unlike before when they would do like tweaks here and there. But these are like updated in the sense that you can, in a way, call them new models because they have more to them. They have more depth. They have more features. But
they have mouths.
Right, they have actual mouths now. They have actual
mouths
eyes.
And eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly. So they technically, like in a way, you can say they're new models, but they are technically a modification of the models we've been seeing for years.
I think it was really easy for a lot of fans to be like, well, you made all these Sinnomon for BDSP. Why can't you just put them in Sword and Shield? And that might be true. I guess what I'm thinking now is like, I don't know how, like if these Pokemon models or whatever you want to call them, I don't think they can actually be backwards compatible.
What still crazes me is that Pokemon Home is literally ransomware at this point because there's still a lot of Pokemon out there who are unaccounted for. Like I still really want, what's it called, Electric or something like that? That
eel,
eel,
right?
the
dog?
eel. It's the eel Pokemon.
Yeah, electric.
Oh, Electabuzz.
Something
Right?
like that, right? But I really
Electros.
want that game.
Yeah, Electros.
Right, so I really want that Pokemon in the game. It's not in any of the Switch games. And imagine being someone who doesn't know anything, which again is the main audience of Pokemon.
Yeah.
They don't know these things, so they transfer it to Pokemon Home to get into Pokemon Sword and Shield or Pokemon Legends, right? Only to be told that it can't go there. And so then they're like, okay, let me put it back into my last game, but then they can't go back either.
Yeah.
So it's stuck there on a menu. That
The best
crazes me.
conversations. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The best conversations that I've had though with family and friends, buddies, cousins who have gotten back into Pokemon, they'll play through Sword and Shield and they'll be like mesmerized by all these brand new Pokemon from Gen 6, from Gen 7, from Gen 5, from Gen 4 that they've never experienced before.
Right.
I guess that's not really to your point, but but yeah, I don't know. It made me think of that.
Well, yeah, so I'm kind of, when I went into Sword and Shield, I was thinking like, this will be my chance to catch up with all the Pokemon I missed out on too.
What was the last game that you played?
I mean, I had played all of them up until that point, but I didn't play them that much because I didn't think they were that good. So I was like, okay, this will be a console Pokemon experience. Maybe it'll grab my attention more and it'll have all the Pokemon. Now I can finally pay attention to them and see them in all their glory, right? Especially with it being the first title that's supposed to be a mainline new gen, which should typically include all the Pokemon up to that point, right? They didn't improve the graphics or anything, so surely they would have all the Pokemon. But no, they had less than half of the Pokemon up till that point. And
this is a whole nother conversation because it's like I don't know if it's just like
this is a Legends cast, right?
yeah. Like
I mean, I'm coming at it from a slightly different angle. Like, I've done some competitive with it, and so a lot of the Pokemon that were, not all of them, because obviously they excluded some really random Pokemon, but some of the ones, like, they excluded, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I ran a competitive Electros. Like, I understand why he's not in there.
Conversely, they could just balance the Pokemon instead.
Yeah, but the problem with Electros is he has no weakness with Levitate as the ability, and like...
They can take that ability away. They took it away from Gengar.
Yeah, but then people will complain that they took it away. I don't know.
Yeah, but people are complaining more that they took the Pokemon out. So
catch-22.
It's really not that difficult to think of the solution. The solution was never to remove the Pokemon. It's not a hard concept to grasp. It was just really bad decision making.
I think there's so many like small mechanics and features in Pokemon. They're all hidden, and I think at a time, maybe Gen 3 or Gen 4, those things were valuable because they made all these Pokemon different and special and unique. But I think you really can change a lot of these things. You can remove things. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's been a lot of things that are removed from Pokemon Legends Arceus, and we saw this with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. People just dismissed that game as a side series, even though it's clearly a main series title. And I don't know. I think I really do want Pokemon to move forward. Whether they take things away, they simplify things, or they can even make it more complicated. But as long as they continue to I think it got really stagnant.
The only game that they've released that doesn't have all the Pokemon, that has an excuse to not have all the Pokemon, is Pokemon Legends. That is the only one that has an excuse not to have all the Pokemon. Pokemon Sword and Shield does not have an excuse. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl absolutely, unequivocally does not have an excuse not to have all the Pokemon up until now. That was the most cheaply made game.
I could not evolve my Scyther in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But yeah, all right, let's actually get back on track. We'll talk more about what we saw in the trailer. I wanted to put out a question about, like, are we seeing dungeons in there? I saw like a door opening and some like unknown text or something. I'm kind of confused.
So I know exactly what we're seeing, at least for the unknown text, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like a lot of this might be the same area. That unknown text says, lives touch other lives to create. which is part of a text that's at the bottom of the Celestion ruins, which says, "Friendship, all lives touch other lives to create something anew and alive." And like, this is a big deal because people have been speculating about this text for a long time. Like, people have been saying like, oh, is Pokemon just throwing moral messages at us, or is this like something lore related? And so the fact that they're putting that focus on it in the trailer makes me think that like, oh, maybe we're gonna find out what this is about, you know, because we haven't found out. The Celestion ruins are like a big mystery. There's just like unknown in there like crazy, you know, but we don't actually know really what they're about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we find out because it seems really fun. But yeah, so we at least know something with the Celestion ruins might be in the game. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Unknown has like a point in this game, if they're going to be essential to the plot or not.
Oh, I hope so. I always found Unknowns very mysterious and intriguing.
Yeah, but also unused.
Yeah.
They've always been like very connected to Arceus because they're supposed to like represent like the code of the game, right?
That's
And
cool.
so like they're like the building blocks of Pokemon, where you can actually see the code almost come out in the game in the form of Pokemon. And so like Arceus
cool.
kind of used the Unknown, aka used the code to create all Pokemon. Like he coded all the Pokemon, you know, through the Unknown.
Masuda is Arceus.
Basically, right? But yeah, like, so the fact that they're featuring the Celestion ruins in a game of, like, titled Legends Arceus and like actually putting it in the trailer is a big deal in terms of lore, and it could hint that the Celestion ruins are actually going to be significant in this game rather than just like, oh, that was kind of cool, you know. So I'm like,
Yeah, I hope so. I also hope, because one of these scenes, it looked like going through like a Zelda dungeon. And I don't know if that's the Celestion ruins or not, but it looked really cool. So I'm really hoping there's like puzzles and stuff like that in the game. I don't know if there is, but
yeah,
that'd be really fun. And I'm hoping that there's also like environmental puzzles out in the overworld too, but that still remains to be seen, at least as far as I know. You guys probably know, but whatever.
Nothing that I've seen.
Oh, that's too bad. Well,
But I haven't seen everything though.
There was another temple or something in the trailer, but I think it's a different one from what we were seeing the interior of. And it has like an Arceus symbol on it. I can't tell if it's Snow Point Temple or if it's like at the top of Mount Coronet.
Yeah, the Spear Point.
Yeah, Spear. What's it called? Spear Pillar?
Spear Pillar.
Spear Pillar,
yeah.
Maybe there's like a temple up there, because in, you know, in BDSP and Diamond Pearl Platinum, it was just like a bunch of pillars that were broken, so maybe it was actually a place back then.
The time before that.
Right. Like we could be able to
theory?
climb a tower. Huh?
Was that your theory?
No, but I mean, it's commonly like accepted that there used to be more of like a tower up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a shrine or something.
Yeah, well, like a pillar, right? Because like it's Spear Pillar, so it's like there should be like some sort of structure there that we could actually go into. So hopefully we'll get to see that.
Yeah.
Like it won't be destroyed yet.
At the very least, looks like we can go into, if it's not, you know, a temple on top of Spear Pillar, then it's probably Snow Point Temple. So like, it's nice to know that there's some like cool structures we can find along the way here.
Yeah. Oh, another thing about the Celestion ruins, at the bottom of them you could find the Mind Plate. So it's very likely that there's going to be like a noble Pokemon in the Celestion ruins, like a psychic type one.
That'll be like the whole story beat. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
In the trailer, there's a statue of Weirdeer and Cleavor. It's obviously not Cleavor.
Yes, you're right.
Maybe it's Weirdeer. That Weirdeer is psychic type.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So there was one more thing that the trailer revealed to us as people who are avoiding spoilers. I mean, I already knew this because someone told me, because I asked about it. But Horde battles are now confirmed, meaning if you get into a battle with a Pokemon and there's a bunch of other Pokemon around, they can apparently gang up on you. So that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice to see it confirmed in the most recent trailer. That is something that I saw from gameplay, but
Yep.
it looks challenging. From what I've seen, it looks really challenging, where you'll be battling an Electivire or a Garchomp, and then if something catches your eye nearby, they'll just come up out of nowhere, and it's not always a low level Pokemon.
Wait, they can join after the fight's already started?
I mean, that's what it looks like. Maybe there's something where it's coded like whatever's in the area just maybe it takes time for it to reach the battle, but that's what I've seen.
Whoa, that's gnarly. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to get surrounded by Zubats in a cave.
This is exactly what it was like to play Red and Blue back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a shiny hunting method.
Oh yeah, good point. But you can see the shinies in the overworld, and I heard that they make a sound too, or something like that.
Yeah, you can. It looks really satisfying. Like it looks like a type of game where, because right now I play Pokemon games with the sound off. I didn't always used to do that.
Yeah.
But this looks like the game where you need the sound on and you need to be immersed.
Good.
I told you guys earlier, like I played 2 hours of Skyrim today. I'm just trying to like cope with how much time there is before the game comes out. And I had my headphones on, my eyes glued to the screen, just listening for bandits and whatever.
Oh yeah. Speaking of cool looking, and like immersion and all that, and sound effects, the evolutionary screen was also showed off. I almost forgot about this, and it looks so cool how the Pokemon evolve. And, like up closest to their face with like a darkened silhouette and glowing eyes, no matter what Pokemon it is, and it looks so cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to evolve some Pokemon.
Yeah, me too.
It reminds me of like that Giratina form in BDSP. You know the one I'm talking about that like looks like a shadow. And so I'm like, why does it look like that? You know?
That's cool
when they
though.
evolve,
I like it.
like, is Giratina behind evolution? Now we're getting into conspiracy theories.
Hey, it might be, because if Arceus is tied to the
in good
creation,
company.
if Arceus is tied to the creation and Giratina is like the anti-Arceus, then maybe it has something to do with evolution or some other aspect of Pokemon. Could be possible.
Right? Feel like we're heading into conspiracy theories.
Dun dun
so.
dun!
Yeah,
Right,
off the Bulbapedia.
I don't think this is a very plausible one, but that is a fun idea. Uh-huh.
Twilight Zone music.
So
I think it's really cool. And it matches the aesthetic of the game.
I agree. I like the smoke effect and all that too.
Yeah.
Sure. When it comes to the spoilers you guys have seen, without spoiling for us what exactly the spoilers are, what kind of spoilers have you guys seen?
There are new Pokemon that haven't been revealed.
Okay, like completely new
Whoa.
Pokemon. Like not even just forms?
Yeah.
Huh?
There's like new
Yeah.
Pokemon, not even just new forms. It's also just completely new Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
There's even a Pokemon. Yeah. There's a lot of different. There's Pokemon that like they're not new forms, but they are appropriate. They match like existing trios from previous generations.
Oh.
So
Yep.
there's some sort of like, it feels, I don't know, it's immersive. It feels
It's cohesive.
Cohesive,
Like,
that's a good word.
Yeah.
It's like it's an appropriate retcon.
Interesting. Kind of like, is it kind of like Galarian, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres? How they call them Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, but technically they're not the same birds. But they, like the whole joke was, they said, "Oh, this is Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Go find them." And then we find these ones that look like them. And then every time you bring them back to Peony, he's like, "Well, that's not exactly what they looked like or their typing, but I guess that's close enough. So good job." Like,
Yeah,
so it's technically
not,
a different
they're
Pokemon.
not like new forms. They're like actual like new Pokemon though.
Okay,
So it's not
more
like we're
the
gonna have a
Reggies.
Hisuian. Yeah, exactly. More like the Reggies.
that's cool. I'm excited to see what they do with that. I'm very, very excited. Okay. Any other like noteworthy, spoilery stuff that you don't want to spoil but want to mention that was cool?
There's a lot of cool, I think I said it at the top of the show, like there's a lot of cool items that help not fix but make up for lacking features in this game. And to me, these new items, they I think are better than what we've had in the past. Like I feel like these, like I said, fix. Like I think they really are. It's the better pathway.
I mean, the bar wasn't very high in the first place, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that's cool to know. I don't know. Obviously, I have no idea in what way you mean that, but I'm intrigued nonetheless. I can't wait to see what it is in just 2 days from now.
It reminds me when, which item was it? Actually, no, I don't even. With Eevee, like they added the Ice Stone in Gen 7, and I think it was, I don't know, there were some Pokemon that got new ways to evolve. So
yeah.
it's kind of similar to that, where it's like, let's remove this headache and let's just give them the Thunderstone. It's kind of like that.
Kind of like a what's her name in Gen 8?
I can't think of what it was.
The cream pie. What's it called?
Alchemy?
Alcremie, yes. To evolve into Alcremie, you have to like have an item attached to it, and then you gotta like spin around. Do the Charizard pose. Stuff like that. That was a good idea. That was a good idea. I liked that.
Yeah.
I have a question, actually. A quick question.
Sure.
You guys probably know this, so that's why I want to ask. In Sword and Shield, it looked like they were experimenting with really fun things that I think they really needed to implement fully here. So, like, when you go to the ice area of the Crown Tundra, where there's, like, the beach, you see in the water, there's, like, Avalugg, and there's Ice Cube in the water, and they just look like floating ice cubes, right? And it would have worked better if Sword and Shield didn't have horrendous pop-in. But Sword and Shield has horrendous pop-in. So, like, I'm hoping in Legends that they take that idea, finally implement it in a game that doesn't have pop-in. So, do they do stuff like that in this game?
You mean like have Pokemon in the water, acting like they're actually in the water?
No. More like have the Pokemon blend in with the environment, or have the Pokemon seem like it's part of the environment. Like how Ice-Q and Avalugg look like just chunks of ice in the water, and you would, you know, if the pop-in wasn't bad, you could confuse them for like ice chunks that were just like bordering in the water. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that.
No, they dropped that idea.
I can't think of any specific example, but I think most of the world in general, it just feels organic. So,
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's as big of a need for that necessarily. I mean, that is nice. You bring that up. I haven't thought about that in a while. And that is a really nice visual feature.
Yeah, I think the Pokemon are so much more alive in their movements that, I don't know, they don't have as much of the like hiding kind of things, like hiding in plain sight. But
Right.
Like you'll creep over an edge, and you'll just see like a valley, and there's all these wild Pokemon, and as you approach them, they'll either run away, or challenge you, or it feels organic.
Well, what about, like, there were some other gimmicks too. So that was one of the gimmicks they did in Sword and Shield that would have been better if it wasn't for the pop-in. Another one was like a Molga would fly through the trees in the Isle of Armor, and then also Sharpedo would like chase you down as like a shark fin in the water too. Like, is there anything like either of those two, or no?
I mean, all of the Pokemon have different mechanics when you interact with them, in terms of like some are going to be more hostile, some are going to be more relaxed, but like that isn't really a spoiler because we've kind of seen that already.
Right. Okay, so it sounds like the answer to my questions are no, which is too bad.
You do bring that up. I mean, yeah, the DLC for Gen 8 really did a good job with that.
It did, but again, it was trapped in this very poorly coded game, so it wasn't able to do what it wanted to do.
I think I've seen Pokemon, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I think I've seen like a land-dwelling Pokemon like enter the water. This was a wild Pokemon.
But it was just a puddle of water,
that's
right?
not a spoiler. That was in a trailer. Baneri was in the water.
Yeah, but it was just a puddle.
Yeah.
So it can like stand
It might have been a river.
It was a pretty deep puddle.
But like, let's say
drowning.
it's like a full-on body of water, right? They can't go into that, right?
Yeah, but the question then is which Pokemon can do that? Because like if there's a fire type, like if Cyndaquil is going into the water like that, that's weird.
Nah, he's fine.
He's like, help me!
I wonder if you could throw him out into that river. All right, day one. Whoever's choosing Cyndaquil, throw him out into the river. See what happens.
I'll report back.
I'll report back. Because I'm choosing Oshawott. And I'm not evolving him.
Maybe this is what we should do, yeah.
That was another thing I got spoiled for, is the starters, like the Final Evolution starters stats and some of their moves.
Oh, really?
But I don't know how much of that we want revealed.
No, none of it. We don't want any of that here.
Probably
Kayla,
don't want to know that, but it's
Kayla,
interesting.
What's your favorite of the three?
In terms of competitive, or
No, just I mean, whatever your factors are.
Yeah, so for me, I usually, because I usually, try to play competitive. It's weird because this game competitive doesn't really matter, so I'd say just pick your favorite. But if this was a competitive game, I would say Decidueye looks like it's going to be the most powerful.
Yeah, wow. Decidueye looks really cool. I was kind of hard on Decidueye over on my channel, I don't have any like emotional connection to Rowlet, but I think Decidueye, it like makes a pretty drastic change. Where I guess I don't want to spoil anything, but
I mean, you can see in the silhouette, it looks like from the silhouette, it looks like the most drastic change.
It does, yeah. So I don't think I'm going to be picking it. I'm probably going to get either Oshawott or Cyndaquil. I've yet to decide. I think Oshawott fits the rest of my team, but yeah.
You can also I don't think this is a spoiler per se. This is more like an alleviation for people who are worried. You can get the starters later on in the game anyway. So it's not like when you get a starter, you don't have to worry about not being able to get the others, because this is a single player game, and while there is trading in the game, they have to have a way for you to be able to get all the Pokemon, right? No one's going to trade you their starter if they don't have a way of getting another one. And we know breeding. True. We already knew breeding's not in the game. Yeah. So you can get the other starters later on down the line anyways. So I'm not evolving my Oshawott. I'm not going to see the starter evolutions until I can get the other starters by catching them and hopefully catch my starter over again. So that'll be nice.
I would say, honestly, people should just pick their favorites. And then if you're, like, scared about the new mechanics of the game, maybe think about going with Rowlet, because Rowlet isn't getting enough love anyway in most of the polls.
Really?
So... yeah.
I would think Oshawott would be the one to suffer. Everyone loves Rowlet, and everyone loves...
No, it's been Cyndaquil, and then Oshawott, and then Rowlet in all the polls I've seen.
Gen 5's, like, nostalgia now. Like, the people who grew up with Gen 5 are, like... probably 20 years old.
Were these polls after the reveals though, or the leaked?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense because people just don't like the final form of Decidueye, but people love Rowlet, and people love the original Decidueye. So there's that. Okay. Well, that was a fun topic to talk about. Let's go ahead and move on now. Before, I just want to say how many things I was right about. I was right about... no, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm kind of not kidding. I was right about so many things. I called so many things ahead of time. I called a lot of gameplay mechanics. I called the fact that Monolith Soft helped make this game, like, more than helped, like, had a huge hand in it. I called that Masuda probably didn't touch this game, and sure enough, official news came out. He didn't lay a finger on this game, which, thank goodness, it's all the better for it, right?
Johnny, I did see you on Twitter slandering the man. I mean,
he deserves it.
We should be very thankful for what Masuda has done. I'm okay with criticism.
Oh yeah,
you were being very expressive on Twitter.
He was a great composer back in Gen 2. That's about it. I don't like anything else he did. He directed Black and White, and like Black and White I don't like as much as Black and White 2, but I can say Black and White's definitely not an atrocity when it comes to the Pokemon mainline games. However, that was also back when Iwata was still alive, and Iwata was the one who was saving Pokemon from itself up until he died right before they entered the 3D era, and we all seen what a crap show that's been. But yeah. Anyways, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've taken from this is that Masuda's going to be running and working on Gen 9.
Please no. Please no. Just go. Just leave us alone. Oh my God.
I stay out of this whole thing.
Yeah. He's a good man, Johnny.
He needs to go. Every time
I just don't know enough about it.
Every time he gives his reasoning on stuff, it's so detached. Like the reasoning he wants games to be easy. Yeah. The reason he wanted to take away the battle frontier. The reason he wants to put less in the post game for Pokemon games. The reason why he wanted to take Pokemon away from Gen 8. The reason why everything. He and Omori are the worst when it comes to directing Pokemon games. And Omori's his understudy. Omori's his understudy. And because they share so many ideals, everything they touch turns to badness. Okay?
So the director of this game, I believe the director of Legends of Arceus also directed Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
So he, as soon as this game launches, he's going to be working on the next project, whether that's another Legends game, whether that's another new series that they're going to start, whether that's DLC for Gen 9.
I mean, I hope he is, but he might not. You know how GameFreak is. They change the directors just by throwing a dart at the board.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, you guys are blessed to be able to enjoy other game series. I only play Pokemon, so I try to kind of hold my tongue. I'm thankful that I get a game every single year, or in this case, 2 games in 1 year. I think what the system that they have going on right now is they essentially have 3 directors. That's 3 different games that they can be operating, cycling through, and then maybe if Ilka didn't do a great job, but I think it's a foundation for improvement. That'd be another game in the series, or in the cycle rather. I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive.
I just want Monolith Soft to return and just take the reins again. You can tell they took the reins on this one. So I really want Monolith Soft to. I want Nintendo to stronghold GameFreak and Monolith Soft to work together.
I'm happy with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Also, like, the director doesn't do every single thing in the game. That's like saying, a president determines the economy, determines all of the businesses in the. You know what I'm saying? Like,
actually, that's not a fair comparison, actually, because the directors in Japanese companies have the most power. They have a lot of power. Yes. So, like, if the director looks at something and says, like, no, I want it to be this way, they have to do it. That is exactly how it works in Japanese game companies. Breath of the Wild, the reason the swimming is so unsatisfying in Breath of the Wild, and that was probably one of the worst aspects of the game, is because Miyamoto was like, I want you to feel like you're at the mercy of the wild. And like, that totally makes sense, right? But like Miyamoto said
artistic.
Right, it's artistic. But the thing is, to get away from it, is that even if it doesn't make the game better, it's something the director said, and therefore it shall be. Masahiro Sakurai is also a huge influence on Smash Brothers over the years. Ultimate, funny enough, was one of the ones he had the least influence on, but that was just because he's tired. He himself said, you guys take over the balance, and you guys take over this, blah, 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 right? Instead of doing it all himself. But Japanese game developers, the directors get a lot of power on what happens in the game, what is in it, what's not in it, why things are the way they are, etc., etc.
Wow. So, that's enlightening.
So EY is the director of Pokemon Legends Arceus. And EY has directed Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but he was also, we can't discredit him for this, he was also one of the game map directors for Black and White and Black 2 and White 2. And he did a few other things. Oh, he also did the game map in X and Y, which, funny enough, as criticized as X and Y was, one of the most positive aspects people talk about with X and Y is the region. The region itself, the design of the region. So EY, the only negative he has under his belt so far is Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
How do you spell his name? I'm going to look it up.
IWAI. The only negative he has under his belt so far is directing Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And to be fair, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was one of the most rushed Pokemon games ever. Like, the man actually did not have much to work with when that game came out. I think that game was made in less than a year, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't even a full year cycle. I think it was 9 months was the exact time, but I could be incorrect about that one. And honestly, like, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon wasn't that bad. While it did detract from the original Sun and Moon, it also added to the original Sun and Moon in other ways.
It was very similar, though. It was better, but it was so similar, you know?
Right.
I think that was probably, like, behind the scenes. If we're gonna look back, I think at that time what Game Freak probably wanted to do was implement DLC, which is essentially what, like, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is essentially just like the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a little bit different. The story's a little bit different, but like it's the same thing. And then and that was the problem with it, that it felt like just DLC.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is definitely the better game, I think.
Yes, for sure.
So, and the thing with that, like I said, is it had a lot of behind the scenes issues that just like kind of didn't let it be as good as it could have been. So I can't really blame EY for that one. I can't blame any of the developers of Sun and Moon for that one, because it came out in a time when, like you said, they're trying to test out the concept of DLC. It also came out, like I said, it was one of the most rushed Pokemon games ever to ever occur. It came out a year after Sun and Moon, which is usually not what happens. Usually there is another game, like a remake, and then the third version. But they didn't really do that. And then on top of that, they were also splitting up their very small team. It's already a very small team at GameFreak. At the time, it was like, 100 employees, if even that. I think it was like 80 employees. And they were splitting between Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon probably got the worst end of the stick. And then we know Let's Go also got a pretty bad end of the stick, and Sword and Shield also got a really bad end of the stick because on top of that, they were developing Little Town Hero, and Little Town Hero got priority. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and they gave Little Town Hero priority because that's their priority at GameFreak is actually not Pokemon, it's whatever other games that they're working on. They've made that pretty explicit. They have Team A and Team B, and Team B is always the one that does the Pokemon games, and Team A is always the one trying to develop another IP. And they never were, right? It's because Game Freak's not good developers, at least not until now, unless if they have really learned from Monolith Soft. I'd argue they're still not good developers.
I feel like I'm listening to one of my videos right now. Just Johnny's on a rant.
I'm on a very large rant. But yeah, I'd argue they probably still aren't good developers unless they actually did learn from Monolith Soft. But the point is that Little Town Hero was the priority to them, and then they just like split up their team so much, of their very small team, and then none of them are good on top of that. And then EY probably, like I said, got the worst end of the stick with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, probably had the smallest team. So,
jeez, I don't know. Should we bring this back to Legends Arceus?
Absolutely. I mean, this all does affect Legends Arceus in the long run.
It does. Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have something in mind?
No,
I mean, in terms of the future. In terms of the future of Pokemon, I'm super curious how Pokemon Legends Arceus is going to impact the competitive scene, because it's really changing up the battle style. And so if they do implement this in Gen 9 as the default battle style, I'm very curious to what that will mean for the competitive scene for Pokemon, because everybody is so used to the same and very stale like battle format in competitive, but we're used to it. It's what we know. So like I'm wondering like if we're going to get some new people into the competitive scene and also lose some people who've been there for a while, and like how that could potentially really change it up if that becomes like, if this becomes more of like the default battle style.
I think it's pretty similar to like it feels like a progression, or maybe like a sidestep. It doesn't like totally scratch. When I first saw Legends Arceus and gameplay of it, I was actually worried that it was going to be too close to like a Smash Bros or something like that. But I think it really does feel pretty traditional. The only difference is it's how quickly a Pokemon can attack. So in that sense, I think of the anime. I think a lot of people's touchstone is the anime, where it's like a Pokemon can attack twice in a row, right?
Yep.
You can switch out, and it's like, this feels a lot more organic. I think. I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think we need. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I think we need to see more trainer battles, because so far we've I haven't seen spoilers of trainer battles, so we've really only seen like the beginning trainer battle, against that Munchlax.
Yeah, we haven't seen them take turns either against each other in the trainer.
Right. And so I'm curious, what's going to happen if a trainer has more than one Pokemon? Can you send them out at the same time? And also, because your trainer can run around and take damage, can you lose a Pokemon battle if you take too much damage as a trainer? Because, if in a trainer battle, if you and the other trainer are running around throwing Pokemon at each other, and not only fighting off each other's Pokemon, but also dodging you know what I mean? There are some potential new mechanics into battle, which are both very exciting and very different.
The trainers fight each other while the Pokemon do. Let's go!
Right? Squid Game!
It just grabs May's head.
It's like GTA. You can start throwing punches.
Right?
Yeah.
But depending on how that works, because we've, I don't know, I think it could be very different, and if that becomes the standard, that could really change up the competitive scene.
I really hope that it becomes the new standard, because not only do I think the old formula was getting stale, but I think Sword and Shield in particular was a great final hurrah for competitive. I think Sword and Shield was probably the best competitive Pokemon game for traditional Pokemon battles.
That's fair, yeah.
Yep.
So I'd be totally fine with them just ending the traditional game competitive there, and that can just become the new Melee, like Smash Melee of Pokemon.
Something I'm working on behind the scenes. I want to flesh out a whole video concept about like essentially just a Stadium 3 or whatever the modern Pokemon Showdown game is. They should make an official one, and that should just be that'll be the Smash Bros. Ultimate, right? That's the standard for competitive, and you can battle on all these different formats. You Gmax, etc. You can do this new Legends Arceus style. You could even go back to Gen 1. I feel like they need some sort of hub, which in Gen 8, Sword and Shield has been that hub. And you have all these other tertiary games around it that all appeal to different people, different players, and truly give different experiences. Some of those experiences, aren't as great as others. But I think going forward, I would love to see a Gen 9 where we get just the Gen 9 game is just a nice story. It's the classic Pokemon. You give us a remake, right? And then maybe there is another Let's Go, maybe there's a Legends, and they're supplementary. You can pick and choose which Pokemon experience you want to enjoy, and for some of those people, it's going to be competitive.
So I'm hoping that they actually don't do that. I'm hoping what they do is they continue making the games in the Legends style format. Gen 9 included. I'm hoping Gen 9
I don't
plays...
think that's going to happen.
Well, I'm hoping what happens is Gen 9 plays like Pokemon Legends, right? And then series, continuing on does. They reduce the amount of Pokemon per game just for the better gameplay, the better... all of that, the better animations, And what they should do is make a Pokemon Battle Revolution type game for whatever console we're on at the time that has all the Pokemon and plays with I was gonna say just the traditional style, but I kind of like your idea of like being able to choose the different fighting styles if you wanted to.
Because you can do that in Showdown.
Mm-hmm.
So what you could do is you could have just like a Battle Revolution type game. That's the competitive game. That's the one that you can have any Pokemon you want in, and it's just battles. That's
I think
all
of
it is.
Mario Maker, right? Like you can make your own. You can make anything.
Yeah. That would be what Pokemon could do. They could have that would be their Mario Maker.
Yeah, it'd be like a new Pokemon Stadium,
Or a Pokemon
like with
Battle
more
Revolution
options.
Or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we can have the mainline games that get released, like Gen 8, Gen 9, whatever that comes out after, be quality games like Pokemon Legends.
And they could so the thing that I keep thinking about is like, as much as you brought it up earlier, there are different. We're online and we're deep into this, but we're not the target demo, right? Like we want a game that is, I guess, more experimental, more immersive, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's this like safety. There's this like, I don't know, the turn-based.
But that would be the safety net. I think that would be how they finally please everyone. Is making a game that is just straight up, you can have all the Pokemon in it. You can do the battles whichever way you want. And then no one can complain that the new game doesn't have all the Pokemon because they're like, okay, this is our new game. It's quality. It's got new Pokemon. It's a new generation. And it has a campaign and all that, right? So that's why if you want all your Pokemon and if you have them trapped in home, they're not just trapped in home. You can you can trap them in the new Battle Revolution or whatever it is.
That's true. So you could also use home. I was thinking of it like creative mode Minecraft, where it's like you can pick and choose anything, make the ultimate set, whatever it might be.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking more like Pokemon Stadium, where you actually get to pick Pokemon, but then you can adjust their EVs and IVs and moves and all of that kind of stuff.
Make them shiny. You can make them, in this game now, you can make them alpha Pokemon.
Or also to make Pokemon Home worth the price of admission, maybe just add a battle mode to it so that you can actually use the Pokemon that are in home. They could even just sell it as a new feature or an expansion. Make that like the premium option, and people would actually be willing to pay for that. Like it's actually a thing.
And it's already on Switch and mobile. That's exactly how Pokemon Unite works.
Yep.
Yeah, my thing though is if we did have like a Pokemon Stadium where people could choose their Pokemon instead of having to raise them, it kind of democratizes like Pokemon competitive scene, because like right now there's certain moves and abilities that you can only get if you have like an older like gaming device and older equipment, older games, and like some kids nowadays, like they're not gonna have that. So like people who have all of these different games and can transfer all these Pokemon through Pokemon Home, unless these kids are like trading for the Pokemon that they need, like there's certain things that they're just not gonna be able to get, you know, just because it doesn't exist. Like a Pokemon with a certain move, it just doesn't exist in the new generation. So like if it is more of a like you get to kind of pick everything, then it's just fair for everybody, you know?
There is ways they can make it work.
Yeah. How fun would it be to make like a competitive league in this like imaginary game where it's like Gen 2 like standard, right? Like everything has leftovers. I don't know. I'm getting real nostalgic.
Yeah, right? Like you could turn on different generation rule sets.
Yeah. The Blissey, the one hit KO Blissey where it takes 3 minutes to faint.
Oh gosh. What about the types in Gen 1?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that
Psychic
actually
type?
works. Yeah.
So people could actually understand when people say, yeah, Psychic type was actually OP in Gen 1.
Yeah. Bug type is super effective against poison.
Right?
Yeah, and then you have the Gen 6 meta where like Talonflame with Gale Wings is actually effective.
Right, and that would also be kind of cool because then people could play with their favorites that might not see as much play nowadays, you know?
And the thing is, like, this already exists on Showdown, on Slogan, right? Like, a lot of the things I'm saying, they exist, except they don't... It's like the interface isn't as great. Like, it's never the same... I have this ongoing, like, 10-year-long battle record with one of my hometown friends, and we only battle through the games. So, like... We have had battles on Showdown, but it's not fun. It's not the same. It's like, I want to be able to do it on console where I'm looking at things. I guess, and this is where Pokemon Legends Arceus really has the leg up, because when you play these games and you battle in these games, it feels like you're having a real experience. It's what you imagine in your head.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, I'm so excited.
I know, I can't wait. I just want to sleep for the next 4 days.
Yeah, so like the main takeaway here from this entire stream, or this entire discussion, if people have stayed till the end of this podcast, is that Pokemon Legends Arceus is the game that we've all wanted. It's the game we all deserve, and it's the game that, like, it really does actually have the Pokemon fan base the most unified it's ever been, probably.
At least online, yeah.
Yeah, of just like sheer excitement and joy from it.
I haven't talked to my little cousin yet, but...
Your little cousin's gonna see or play this game in person and be mystified. Like, I can't imagine a Pokemon fan or a non-Pokemon fan seeing and playing this game and just like not enjoying themselves. It looks so fun. And
I can't wait.
Everyone who's played it so far, everyone who's played it says it's amazing. Like the hands down the best Pokemon game ever made, both spin-off and otherwise.
That's what I've seen.
So yeah, me too. So that's why I think this is the game changer, and they need to roll with it at this point. They cannot go back from here. If they go back from here, I'm at the very least not buying it. I will have more than enough fun and joy to be had with Pokemon Legends that I can confidently not buy the next installment unless it improves upon Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Maybe this is a whole other conversation, but like, you know, the trapping of buying a new Pokemon game usually falls on the new monsters.
It can, to an extent. However, for me, after all these years going by, being burned and burned by new Pokemon games, just like being worse and worse than the ones that came before, I don't even know if the new designs can sell me. I really have to have the good gameplay to go along with it. I just want an experience that I feel like I'm working with my Pokemon as a team, and for it to be immersive and cohesive and fun. That's all.
Worst case scenario, you can always buy the sitting cuties.
Yeah, exactly. You can just get the plushies. You don't even need to get the game.
That's the true immersion.
Yep. If you like the new Pokemon, just get the plushies. Don't even buy the new game if it's not good, right?
Yeah,
but if it is as good as Legends or better, then yes, I will absolutely get it.
We gotta meet up in a week or so and gush once more.
Oh, we will. We absolutely will. But yeah, so we're all excited for the game. Kayla and I are getting it together on Friday. Dusty, did you get it digital or are you getting it physical? How are you doing?
Yeah, I get my Pokemon games physical. I guess it's kind of irrelevant considering the save data is on the console. But it's nice to have a physical copy. Actually, my fiance might be getting a Nintendo Switch for herself. So if I do get Legends Arceus, she can pop in the cartridge into her game.
Perfect. That works out. See, but that's part of the sales thing I was telling you about.
I know. I was thinking of that as I said it.
Oh, too funny. And tragic. All right, but yes, it was so fun having you guys on again to talk about this. We talked about all sorts of things, not just Legends, but it all ties back into Legends, of course, because Legends is the evolution we've all been waiting for, and it comes out.
This is the future of Pokemon.
Hopefully, it's out in just a few days, like 2 or 3 days now. Wow.
I'm just like sitting here smiling. I'm so excited.
I can picture your face right now. I know what you look like when you just sit there with a smile on.
Right? When I'm just like, ooh.
It's just a huge smile. You just stare out into an abyss with a huge smile on your face.
I'm just really excited for these games. You know, like I've been playing Pokemon since I was 5 years old. Like this is a big deal.
Me too.
I don't think I've been this excited since the release of X and Y when everything went 3D, because I think I was imagining we were going to be playing like Legends Arceus. I mean, it was fun. X and Y was fun.
Yeah, but though.
This is what we've always imagined, even since the Game Boy games. So that's the important part here.
Oh man, yeah, I got so many thoughts about. Okay, yeah. We'll have to do another one.
All right, you guys, who are you? Why are you here? What do we need to know about you? Kayla? No, Dusty. Let's start with you, actually.
Yeah, I'm Dusty Go-Goat. You can find me on every platform at Dusty Go-Goat. Just speculation. We love Pokemon. Pokemon theories, Pokemon rumors, Pokemon leaks. Mostly Pokemon speculation. Always looking towards the future.
You forgot to mention you're 27 years old.
And I'm 27 years old until March.
Oh, we're both March. Oh, both of our birthdays are in March.
Yeah, I can't wait to say I'm 28.
Wait, when's your birthday in March?
The 25th.
Oh, that's the day Kirby and the Forgotten Land comes out.
Perfect.
Wow, my birthday's on Pi Day. You know what Pi Day is, right?
Yeah, was it 3/14?
Yeah. March 14th, yeah. All right, Kayla, who are you? Why do we want to know about you? Where are you?
I'm Kayla from Kayla's Capsule. You guys can follow me on YouTube. Woot. I'm also on Instagram and on Twitter, but YouTube is like my main thing. I am going to be live streaming all of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I'm probably going to be screaming a lot as Pokemon charge at me and have red eyes and are super scary. So if you want to, watch that, I'll be live streaming like the whole game. I do a lot of Pokemon lore stuff, so if you guys like that kind of content, you can check out my channel. And yeah.
I most certainly want to watch that.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be hilarious, TBH.
I know. I'm so excited to watch your streams. It's going to be so fun.
I look forward to you guys FaceTiming me when you go to the New York City.
Right?
Yeah. It's gonna happen, right? Yeah, it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Johnny!
We're gonna be vlogging. I think we're gonna vlog it. We're gonna try to vlog
it. For sure.
I'm gonna have to bring a charger for my phone so it don't die.
Oh, I'm gonna bring my camera.
I hope the vlogs.
I don't know if they'll let me film with it.
You and I are gonna be vlogging each other. It's gonna be mad awkward. I love it. All right.
It's classic, like 2012 YouTube.
I loved having you guys on, and I hope you, the audience, enjoyed watching. Until the next video, I have been johtojonny, followed by Kayla's Capsule and Dusty Go-Goat. So go ahead and check them out after this. All their links will be in the description and more. So yeah, I will catch you all later. Peace out. You guys can say bye too if you want.
Goodbye.
Kayla?
Oh, did it not go through? Again?
Say bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Sloppy toppy. All right. I'm leaving this whole thing in, by the way.
I know how you do.